Module 10, critical limits, target levels and tolerances. The aim of this unit is to look at how to establish critical limits. And by the end of this unit, you should be able to define critical limit, target level, tolerance and deviation. Establish critical limits and target levels for critical control points, and provide examples of critical limits and target levels. Establishing critical limits. A critical limit is the value of a monitored action which separates the acceptable from the unacceptable. A deviation is a failure to meet a critical limit. Establishing critical limits, a target level is the predetermined value for the control measure, which will eliminate or control the hazard at a control point or buffer zone. A tolerance is the specified degree of latitude for a control measure which, if exceeded, requires immediate corrective action. And you need to be looking at establishing critical limits and the criteria used. So critical limits, let's have a look at some examples. There we go. We got a refrigerator there. We've got the critical limit 7 degrees C. Target is 9 degrees C. And the tolerance is 1 degree C. Let's have a look at more detail underneath. We just fill these in. Here we go. So with the fridge, the critical limit is 8 degrees C. As I mentioned earlier, the UK law for fridges in retail establishments, in business establishments, maximum temperature is 8 degrees C. Although the lower you can get it, below 4 is better, because you will get growth of bacteria at 4 degrees C or above. So the critical limit for a fridge is 8 degrees C maximum. Target is 5. Tolerance is 3. So in other words, we'll allow it to go up to 8 degrees C. But the action level, you should be taking action if it goes to 7 degrees C. So let's have a look at cooking temperatures. The critical limit is 75 degrees C. Target is 78, although you know my opinion by now on cooking temperatures. The tolerance is always the difference between the critical limit and the target. So the difference between 78 and 75 is 3 degrees C. But when it gets to 76 degrees C, that's when you take action. Variables. Let's have a look at these. Just put these up. So the critical limit of the fridge is 7 degrees C, and the target is 4 degrees C. Cooking temperature 76 degrees C, and 79 degrees C is the target. So I'm gonna put up a generic flow diagram for catering. We've got the legend there. CCP is a critical control point. Generic hazards. C is contamination. M multiplication. S survival. Always check temperatures with a disinfected electronic probe temperature. So we've got with food coming into establishment, a service to consumer. We've got purchase, delivery, storage, could either be dry, chilled or frozen. If it's frozen, it needs to be thawed before it's prepared, or it could be prepared and then served cold. So we've got, with purchase, as I've shown with the legend, contamination, multiplication. So you get all the multiplications. C and M is contamination and multiplication for served cold. And always use approved suppliers. Time to unload, less than 10 minutes. Stock rotation with storage. Delivery, less than 5 degrees C or less than minus 18 degrees C. If it's above those temperatures, refuse it, send it back, because the onus is on you. If you accept deliveries above those temperatures, unfortunately, you've not kept to your HACCP plan. Storage, less than 5 degrees C. Frozen, minus 18 degrees C. Thawing to less than 10 degrees C. Refrigerate or cook immediately when thawed. With preparation, less than 1 hour at ambient temperature. So keep food out for preparation for a minimum time. So we're going to go on to the bottom part of generic flow diagram for catering. We're now going on to, after we've prepared it, we're going to cook it, prepare it after cooking, cooling, storage, could be use of leftovers, got serve hot, hot hold and serve, display cold and serve, serve cold, reheat and serve. So again, showing the legend, C is contamination, M is multiplication, S is survival. So we could be serving the product hot, so we need to serve it in less than 15 minutes. Cooking to more than 75 degrees C. Preparation less than 30 minutes at ambient temperature. Hot hold and serve. By law, the food, if you're keeping it hot, must be kept above 63 degrees Celsius. Cooling, less than 10 degrees C within 4 hours. Less than 5 degrees C within 90 minutes, preferably using a blast chiller. Display cold and serve, less than 5 degrees C for less than 15 minutes. Less than 15 minutes is to serve cold. Storage, stock rotation, and reheat and serve greater than 75 degrees C. And if you look at these, all the critical control points come from cooking onwards. So we got cooking, preparation after cooking, hot holding and serving, cooling, display cold and serve, storage chilled, and use of leftovers. So let's have a look at the next part of the HACCP control chart. We looked at the critical control points, so we've already gone through those. Cooking, cooling, and storage are critical control points. Slicing, this is not a critical control point. Serving, adding black pepper is not either. We've got critical limits there. So key points, we looked at critical limit, target level, tolerance, and deviation. So again, recheck the definitions for these because these will come up in the exam. Critical limits and target levels for critical control points. Examples of critical limits and target levels. And that is the end of this section.